As we start this episode, the title of which sounds like a Kids Bop version of a certain Dragon Force song, we see our characters waking up ready to continue. Jesus Christ! Okay, looks like we're going full-on farmer for this episode.
I say, it's a pheasant shoot!
For once, I do believe you're right, dear.
For once. Whee! Well, what are they using? Cannons?
If I was a rabbit, I'd be panicking.
Where's everyone going?
They're going back to the road. And listen to the traffic.
They'll get themselves killed.
So 5 seconds into this episode and the first threat we get was the same as the last one, just in reverse. Regardless, Adam manages to stop the rabbits before they end up committing suicide. When we move on to the next explosive threat.
I suppose somebody always profits in a crisis. But does it have to be you, Molly?
Generally not, considering what benefits the other characters get later down the line. And besides, it's not exactly hard to find worms above ground on a summer morning. I mean, all that dew and everything, they come out almost every morning. But the group soon realises, thanks to Hare and Kestrel's help, that it's an army training session in the area that's causing the earthquake, and they need to move fast, with Rabbit and the pheasants panicking all the way.
One of the soldiers has raised his gun. He's sticking a knife on the end of it.
I say, that's none too sporting.
Especially not in conjunction with a trench gun. Being spayed and filled with buckshot is not easy to get away from, even in a video game.
Now he's attacking a sack.
A sack?
It's hanging from a branch.
Why? What's it done to him? It's a game.
One that Weasel, unfortunately, takes far too seriously.
Stupid female.
Sexist badger? Seriously, what the hell is up with some of these weird dialogue bits? Is there some horrible person as the script supervisor putting in all these tiny little comments that he knows kids won't get? Because that's what it feels like right now. But thankfully it manages to scare the army away.
It's running away.
Huh. An entire squadron scared away by wasps. Truly, this is the pinnacle of British urban combat. I feel perfectly safe having these guys in charge of our safety overseas.
Imagine, afraid of a sack.
Well, now that makes 2 sacks that he's sorely missing. So the animals and a severely stung Weasel retire to the local watering hole to refresh themselves. At night time. Hang on a minute. The last scene implied that it was at least early morning when this all happened. And now they've waited until dusk to go to the watering hole? I know that animals have short memory spans, but this is ADD levels of distraction. Ugh. Anyway, the animals go in there to refresh themselves, along with a few who seem to enjoy a little bit too much there. Well, rather, Fox literally intentionally shoves them in there. I mean, I know he's supposed to be the leader and everything, but there's a line between pushing a group across the road to help them and almost drowning a baby newt. Yes, newts can swim, but not all of them can swim at birth. But the animals start to face facts, and they make the realization that the size ratio of all of the animals is starting to make it quite a hassle for them all.
Travelled too far yesterday, Fox. Too fast for us small animals. Too slow for you. True, Toad. It's very uncomfortable for us, the larger animals.
You're right, Badger. We can't slow our pace any further.
Remember this for later, because it never really stops being a problem in this series. But one species decides on a solution, as the newts decide that they want to stay at the marsh.
Perhaps it would be better if we newts stayed here.
Oh, no. Certainly not. Where there's a will, there's a way.
This journey's much too hard for us, Fox. I don't think we could make it, no matter how slow you all went.
But the newts have everything they need here. And they're quite safe. Nobody comes near this end of the marsh. They'll not do any better at White Deer Park.
I suppose you're right, Toad.
Don't like it. Not in the team spirit.
As long as no one else wants to leave.
That's settled, then. We're staying. You do see it's better for us, don't you, Badger?
I suppose so, but I don't like it.
Seems that Badger is the bringer of future bad omens, since his nerves do come to a realization later on. But regardless, they say goodbye to the newts and the rest of the animals move on.
Thank you for everything, Fox.
Time to go, everybody.
Goodbye.
Throw that away. It might be dangerous.
Oops!
Are you all right, dear?
I'll never be able to turn my back on anyone again.
That will be a nice change.
Is that all you're worried about? When you've been shot at as often as I have, Fox, you'll realize nothing's more important than one's personal dignity.
Hey, he's a fox, he gets shot by toffs all the time, and he will again later in the series. And so we get one of the more ridiculous threats in this show. A single cigarette causes an entire field fire. Okay, it is summer, so the grass will be a bit dry. And there are signs that it hasn't rained in days. But how could one half-dead cigarette cause an entire field fire? I'm sorry about my snark here, but this just doesn't click for me. There is no way that this could happen, especially on a land that has both a marsh and a river surrounding it. This just couldn't happen in real life. I lived in the country all my life, and I've never seen this happen. Unless that theory about animation causing forest fires to become more rapidly successful is actually true, then excuse me, because right now, I'm needed on the set of Top Cat the movie.
While we've stopped, Badger, can I get down?
What for?
I drank a lot of water with those worms.
Fire! It's that sting on the end of your nose. It's affected your sense of smell.
I smell smoke. I do, really.
You can't fool me again. I'm not going to panic.
Look, a red glow in the sky.
So I guess David Horton was right.
Kestrel, have you seen Toad?
Danger! Danger! Fire! Fire!
Fire! No, mustn't run. Must find Toad.
At least Fox is good to have on your side in a crisis. So the animals scamper around the marsh whilst Fox and Badger trying to get Toad and Mole under control.
Mole, come out of there. Mole? Mole! Oh, you silly, greedy little mole.
Permission to run away. Please.
Oh, certainly not. We can't leave Mole.
He who lives by his greed dies by his greed. Oh, shut up! I've not tasted Weasel in ages. The oath! The oath!
Kestrel, tell the others they must wait for the slowest of all, and then you and Owl lead them to safety.
What will you do?
Go back for Toad.
Owl and I will lead you to the other side of the water. You'll be safe there.
Bet you Adder won't make it.
We must wait for her, Weasel.
I won't. I won't.
We must. And then there's Mole. We'll give them both 200 heartbeats.
200 heartbeats?
200 heartbeats.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30!
Well, that's one of the other things I've seen today. Fumes must be getting to me. So Fox and Badger try to get everybody under wraps, but it seems like the fire is being a bit too much to handle. I guess you could say they've got them coming under fire.
Not to start without me.
Hurry, everybody! Follow me!
But what about Mole?
He who can lose home and friends and still remain calm is beyond all grief.
Oh, shut up!
Damn right, this isn't the time to be pretentious. Wait till you get a university degree, then you can be pseudo-intellectual. So Fox does manage to actually find Toad, and in a triumphant moment, the pair return to the ground safe and sound, whilst Mole spends most of his time unintentionally drowning himself.
Look, I can see them coming out of the smoke.
Are we all safe?
All but poor old Mole. I heard a strange sizzling noise. I looked back and I saw a flame shoot out of the dry grass. It caught at the bushes and up they went like bonfires, hee-hee. Luckily the wind wasn't blowing our way. It was blowing the flames back, the way we'd come, to the other side of the marsh. The newts.
Yes, sadly the fire has given us some fried fritters, which gives us the official first fatality of this show, of which this will not be the last. So we will be keeping count of these by something I like to call the cull counter. We're currently up to 3 right now. Fortunately though, Mole is much luckier, as he managed to dig his way out of the burnt marshland, and is found by...
Oh dear, what have we got here? The poor little fella.
a very proper sounding farmer. I guess this takes place in Cambridge.
The wind's changed. Seems a pity to wake him.
Wakey, wakey!
What's happened?
Once again, Weasel proving how she is the ultimate troll of the Stoat world.
Is there any way out, Kestrel?
There's a causeway, a narrow strip of land just underwater, running out to a tiny island in the middle of the lake. You'd be safe there.
Take me to it. Come on, everybody.
Here!
I think it'll be all right.
I'm too tired for swimming, and the water's so deep, I'd drown.
Climb up my tail. Stop it, one at a time. Well, Badger, you've got the right idea.
Looks like Fox and Badger are going to have to play taxi again. Seriously, they should have meters installed on them given how many times they've given other animals a lift. Oh, and Fox shows his superb leadership skills by shoving Hedgehog into the water when there's no more room left. Class.
Nothing like a crisis for making you pull together, eh?
If only Mole could have been here.
Newts!
Yes, this is truly a time for reflection. I mean, 3 characters that we barely knew have died and 1 character that we know that isn't dead. Truly, this is a dire crisis. That being said, this image of the animals looking onto the fire with the solemn music playing is a really great shot for the show, and it really highlights some of the more dramatic elements of this show, even if it is misguided and a bit abrupt. And, as it turns out, the man who took Mole was actually one of the firemen, and he manages to climb out of his uniform pocket and... Wait a minute. Who puts wild animals in their uniform pocket in the middle of a crisis? I mean, yes, you can't just leave them there, but there's got to be a safer place to put them than inside the pocket of your uniform, which he's just shown that he can climb out from, especially if the excitement gets to him a bit too much, and then suddenly you're being shunned in the officer's mess. Regardless though, Mole starts making his way back, but according to Badger...
He's blind in daylight.
Really? Because he seemed able to see perfectly well in daylight before. Oh well, maybe it was just the light from the fire that blinded him. After all, that's what happened to the doors.
Oh, what are we going to do?
Ow! Kestrel! Can you distract the humans while I run to get him?
Oh, look! Hey, look at that!
Well, I'll be.
Did you ever see anything like it in your whole life?
Certainly not, Boyle.
The humans are going!
Oh, Badger, I did miss everyone, especially you.
Well, Moley, me old pal, can't say I'm sorry to have you back either.
So now the animals are all safe, including Mole, and they plan the next phase of their journey in the rain.
It's over the causeway, it's straight on for the fence mate is. Then we're off army land and onto farmland.
Hooray!
First a fire, now a storm. I can't stand it.
Oh, just be glad we're all together.
But we're not. Where are the newts?
Don't ask, there's a good chap. Up you come now.
Come on, everybody, let's get out of here. And whatever happens, now we're together, let's stick together.
So, this was definitely a thrilling episode, in context to what thrilling constitutes in this show anyway. The first of many unique things happen in this episode, such as the separation of certain members of the group from each other, for that matter, implied death of certain characters in the show, plus a human threat that is not construction or urban based, but this time environmental damage and disaster based. The animals being separated due to a crisis only to be brought back again shows evidence of Fox's strained and wavering duties to his leadership role, which was alluded to before, but right now it's all out there in the open, and will apply to a lot of Fox's major character development later in this series and the following ones. The overall theme here is that of mortality. With the death of the newts and the near death of other characters, we feel a sense of urgency and danger towards them that is heightened from what we felt before, and thus this makes us root for the characters more and wants to see them come out of it. While they may have been in danger before, the lack of any actual death kind of weakens that feeling of danger. But now, with an actual death on our hands, that danger is now heightened to an extreme amount, and it adds a greater sense of threat and urgency to this ongoing story, which I like. It's something that's definitely very unique for a kids show, and it's definitely something that adds a lot more drama to something that you would normally see nowadays, or even back then. Overall, this episode keeps the ball rolling efficiently, and it keeps viewers engaged to see what's going to happen next. Or on a more morbid take, who's going to die next. But we'll find that out in the next episode as the animals venture forth into the farmland.